Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Great Day Houston. Don't worry, be happy. Medical research suggests there is much more to that song than you might think. In other words, a positive attitude can impact how your body deals with a disease. Let's talk about that and other headlines making medical news in Hot Topics. And on our panel today is OB/GYN and wellness and aesthetic specialist, Dr. Shelena Lalji, and she's also known as Dr. Shell, and Doctor of Internal Medicine, Dr. H. Michael Ogburn. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Okay, we're going to talk about that happy thing in just a minute, but one of the biggest things in medical headlines, of course, Johnson & Johnson being held culpable for part of the opioid crisis in this country. You work in addiction and recovery, and so what's your take on all of this?
Well, my concern is all of this emphasis on the opioid crisis is actually affecting physicians treating real pain.
Yeah.
And that's a problem, because a lot of people, or a lot of physicians, are now afraid to write opioid prescriptions.
And there are a lot of people who are able to manage their pain medication in the right way for chronic pain.
Absolutely.
And I think the other thing too is a lot of us, when we feel like we don't know what to do in a situation, we feel like it can be that one thing, and it's not that one thing. Unfortunately, the crisis with addiction is so much wider.
It is.
But hopefully that judgment, if that money actually ends up going through, can help in addiction recovery for people.
Because the help is so needed.
Yeah.
Because you're right. When people are suffering with so many different things, pain being one of them, where do they go? And that's where your happy thing is going to come up, right? We're going to talk about how
that in a second. But this case reminds me of the whole cigarette and tobacco case years ago.
Oh my gosh.
And we saw smoking actually decline, especially among young people. But now comes vaping. And so you have kids who will say, well, I don't smoke.
Yes.
I vape.
Well, and we both have teenagers, right? And so we know from hearing from them, and thank God they're not the ones in the bathroom vaping and juuling, but we know that it's everywhere in every school out there. And the worst thing is, kids today and adults feel like vaping is benign because they're just, I'm not smoking, I'm just vaping. They don't realize.
Dr. Ogburn, what is in there?
Yeah, I mean, with like the Juul, which is very popular with the youngsters.
It's become a verb now, juuling.
Yes,
juuling. It's nicotine, okay? And nicotine is not a benign substance. It's one of the most addictive substances out there. And nicotine has long-term effects, particularly on the cardiovascular system, so that you get progressive arteriolar sclerosis. There's effects on the kidney. It's widespread.
Especially when you're looking at the age. I mean, the kids are in junior high school and even elementary school. And again, their thought process is that I'm not doing anything bad because it's pancake strawberry flavor. And that's the other thing.
And that's the point. See, pancake, strawberry, you're adding additives to it, and God knows what's in those additives. And what is it doing to the lung tissue itself? And there's something called popcorn lung, where you have these contaminants in there, and it produces a condition called bronchiolitis, obliterans, where it actually scars down the small airways.
In fact, there were, I think a couple of weeks ago, they said a lot of people came in presenting as having pneumonia. And when they looked, it wasn't pneumonia, but they were like, what was the one common denominator? It was vaping.
But it's the education. I mean, they need to be educated that it's just as bad, if not worse, actually much worse.
All right, here's another thing that keeps coming up. The use of fluoride. We know that it can make teeth stronger, but at what cost?
Correct. And so again, you look at the risks and benefits, right? So when you look at some of the studies that actually looked at high doses of fluoride given to pregnant women, the kids actually had lower IQs, the babies. Yes. And so if you think about the correlation, there is a negative correlation. And then you look at metals, any kind of toxicities, when you're really studying diseases like cancers, chronic diseases, even neurodegenerative diseases,
ALS,
for example, that has been such strongly related to metals, toxins, and all the exposure that we as our bodies don't need that, and our bodies don't process it well.
And even like, it seems like a tube of toothpaste is so benign, but when you read it, it does tell you to keep it out of the reach of small children, and if they ingest too much, that you have to check on them.
Poison control.
Fluoride is actually a toxic substance.
It is.
In low doses, it helps strengthen the enamel of the teeth, but in high doses, it actually causes problems with bones in general.
All right, we started off by talking about don't worry, be happy. For hundreds of years, people have talked about mind over matter, and if you believe something's going to have a positive outcome, will it have a positive outcome? But you've looked at this more closely in relation to ALS, for example, which, by the way, your husband is dealing with.
So we as a family have been, looking at it really from all angles for the last 2 years. And one of the most interesting things that we found, Deborah, and a lot of ALS patients and the world of ALS does not know this, but there have been about 40 some reported and confirmed ALS reversal cases. Out of Duke University, Dr. Richard Bedlack has done this research where he's confirmed that these were actual diagnoses. What we have done is looked at all of those cases and looked at what are the commonalities. And of course, there are many different functional medicine approaches that were taken. But one commonality that we found that was just, it blew us away, and that was positive mindset, the belief that they will heal. And I always tell my patients, you can accept the diagnosis, but you don't need to accept the prognosis.
Right.
Have the belief that your body is fully capable of healing itself. And then, of course, there's the divine intervention as well. But your body, with the belief, because your mind can tell each of your cells in your bodies to really do exactly what you want it to do.
I want to tell you, I know this sounds
Yes.
crazy, but like every now and then when I get a touch of illness because it's going around, I will tell my body, I don't have time.
Yes.
You're going to have to catch up. You have to catch up with me on my day off because I
That's
have
right.
things I have to do, and it just kind of
And
passes.
your body listens.
Yeah,
because
thank
your
goodness.
cells align.
Right. But and Dr. Ogburn, you know, even that whole positive thought process is used in recovery medicine because when you come to that point where you say, I am done, I have to get well, I will no longer be defined as an addict, but a positive attitude is critical.
And we put our clients through mindfulness training.
You bet.
And that's so important because they've actually shown that you can change brain chemistry and brain anatomy with these episodes of meditation.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
And they've seen that in monks who meditate hours for
Right.
years, but it doesn't take years of meditation. It can be just short intervals done frequently.
Yeah.
30
in
minutes
fact,
a day.
Yeah,
That's
just
the
a little
research.
bit.
Yep.
We're going to go out to Serenity Light Recovery, and we're actually going to go out there, and it was such a peaceful place.
Yes.
I can totally see why people will go there and come out feeling whole. All right, I want to
Absolutely.
wrap up with
Yes.
your foundation.
Yes. So ALS Heroes, ALSheroes.com, that's our foundation. We've created Lalji ALS Foundation where we're doing work to spread awareness, to give hope, to do the research that we need to find a cure. As we know, ALS has been around for over 80 years and we don't have any good treatments or a cure. So we always say it's not an untreatable disease, it's an underfunded and misunderstood disease.
absolutely.
And so we are trying to change all that, Deborah, and anybody who would like to be part of that mission, we have a walk coming up and we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
But
and if you want to help Dr.
yes.
Shell raise awareness for ALS, you can visit alsheroes.com. All right,
Absolutely.
thank you two very much.